is, in this video I'm going to talk about the alchemist who survived, now dreams of a quiet city of life. And this is by Usata Nonohara, an illustration by Ox. Ox is a much easier name to just read and say. This was one of my May TBR picks. I'm trying to think of what the category was. It doesn't matter, but it was one of my May TBRs, so I made sure to get to it right away. This is a thicker light novel. It's chunky. There is a bonus comic that you start with, well, technically you start here, that you start with before flipping and going into the main story. I'll give the little synopsis from the back and then go into my thoughts. A girl out of time, a fish out of water, alchemists used to be a dime a dozen in the kingdom of Andalusia. I hope I'm saying that right. So Mariella was never particularly special, but her skills were put to the test one fateful day when a horde of monsters came stampeding from the nearby forest. In a desperate attempt to escape the horror, the young alchemist put herself in a state of suspended animation that lasted just a little longer than she'd planned. An entire 200 years. Needless to say, there have been some big changes, and biggest of all, Mariella is now the sole alchemist in the entire kingdom. Her one wish in this strange new environment is to get back to her quiet, leisurely, low-key lifestyle. Yay. So this is a good, cozy fantasy. I would say the only thing that I was immediately like, oh no, here we go again, is the fact that right away, like after waking, she does some work to just protect and whatever herself. So she does some for alchemy, like making sure she has certain herbs and everything. That's all fine. Then she ends up meeting with this group of people that are traveling into the city. So she goes with them so that she can get a lift into the city. And like right away, once that happens, they end up running into this essentially slave dealer, and she buys herself a slave. Now, does she rescue this person from a bad life? Yes, but why? Why is this a common theme? Like, why is this always happening? And why is it always like, oh, here's this savior coming in to this enslaved environment? And in this case, it's not like she is looking, I guess, to fix the slavery situation. She just buys this one particular guy in general. And then the other thing that is always a question to me is, are they going to spin that into a love story? And if so, aren't there like ethical issues there? I don't know. That whole thing kind of gives me the ick. Like, I'll buy into it. As an alchemist, she does take him from this really wretched state and heals his wounds. His only remaining injury, I'm pretty sure, is he had lost his eye, which you do get that backstory as well, where he used to be like I'm trying to think of the word. Well, it's like a warrior, but they like go out on the hunts or whatever, and he had a magical eye that helped him to defeat the monsters. But he was also arrogant and horrid. And so he ends up losing that eye and therefore his abilities. And so even though there is a way, if you're, I think like the highest level of alchemist, there is actually a potion to bring the eye back, but at this point he kind of doesn't want to. So he does have the eye lost and still scarring there, but she heals most of his other injuries, like he had injuries to his leg. And then he works on rebuilding his strength and everything, and she feeds him and takes care of him, and that's all fine. And she treats him very much like an equal, and that's all fine. But it's also, this person is still owned by her, and there's actually magic to seal that bond of slavery and show that possession. So I don't know. I just have a lot of qualms about that part of thing. I don't know. It just bothers me. Sigmund. I couldn't remember his name at first. That's Sigmund and Mariella. I do like Mariella so far. I think she presents as young. I don't remember her age. Yes, I do. It's written down. I think she's only 15 or 16. Maybe she's 17. I don't remember. 16. And Sigmund is 25. And yes, there are times when after she's healed him and he's fed up and cleaned up, where she talks about how attractive he is. So I am still thinking there should be something there. I don't know. And then some of the other people that she worked with are the Black Iron Freight Corps. So there was Lynx, who was 75, Dick, who was 28, Melrose, I'm going to say it Melrose, who was 27, Gark, who is a, what's his shop? Wait, let me see. He sells medicinal herbs in the city. He's 70, and she deals with him, and he likes working with her, and he keeps trying to make sure she doesn't slip up and admit to what she is, because then it'll mess everything up. So, like, at this point, because alchemists haven't been around, and it would be like this big weird deal about why does she exist and how does she have that ability, she's pretending, I believe, to just be a doctor, and I think she had to pass, I remember she passed these exams, and I'm pretty sure it was like her medical, like licensing exams. So she's allowed to like make medicinal herb remedies and do treatments like that, but she can't admit she's an alchemist. So she actually has more abilities than what her career path is allowing. But Gark helps to supply her with the herbs that she needs. After she gets to the city, she ends up, working out a trade deal with the Corps. Well, they'll pay her, and she'll provide potions, because they know that she's an alchemist, I believe, and they're not going to reveal. Now I'm doubting myself. I'm like, wait, did they know, or did they just think she was a doctor? Anyway, they know that she can produce potions to help them heal. So they hire her to produce some potions for her. So there's a big part of it that's just on her creating these, finding the ingredients either through Gork or going out into the forest and harvesting them, even though it's very dangerous, but she feels confident because she's an alchemist. And that's a big portion of it. And then her main goal, one right now, is to earn all this money, and then when she saves up enough money, she's going to open her own shop. And so that becomes like part 2, is her establishing her new home, getting it built, and then opening the shop, which I think people end up treating like a cafe. So they come to her to just sit there and relax and eat medicinal herb food. Like, everything that she makes them feel better. So if you like cafe stories, that's where it definitely turns into in the second half. So again, there's things that I really liked about this. It still has that cozy vibe. I like the characters. I am only weirded out by the whole slavery thing, which I don't know why that's such a huge prevalent thing with light novels, and especially fantasy light novels. Why is there always slavery? But I mean, she technically could have just found him and hired him as her bodyguard or something. Why does there have to be this magical slavery? I don't know. But I did overall enjoy the book, and I will definitely be continuing it. I'm pretty sure this is a short series that's already completed at 5 to 7 volumes. I don't remember how many it is, but I'm pretty sure it's all set. So I hope maybe I can finish up this series, but part of it's going to depend on the look of the draw and how much spare time I have to, read extra light novels. I would strongly recommend The Alchemist Who Survived. I'm not going to say all the rest of it. I'm just going to call it The Alchemist Who Survived, because I do like the characters. I do think it's well written. I do think it's perfect for fans of cozy fantasy. So if you've been one of those ones who've gotten into cozy fantasy, like Legends and Lattes, and the like, I'm spacing out now. But if you like that vibe, then I would try The Alchemist Who Survived, because, one, it's also a short series, so it's not necessarily as intimidating as some of the other light novel series, especially the ongoing ones. It's doable, it's readable. So there you go. I'd recommend that. That is it for this video. Until next time, bye.